Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. And I actually had quite a bit of fun with tonight's NXT. I thought it was a solid episode. We got a really fun NXT Championship match as we barrel down to NXT TakeOver Orlando, which is 17 days away because we're only 18 days away from WrestleMania 33, which is insane. But yeah, on the whole, I really had fun with NXT tonight. What'd you think, Ashton?
Yeah, man, this was a solid episode. The matches weren't really substantial, but I think that they finally found their focus that we always look for them to get leading up to an NXT TakeOver episode. They made some matches. They set up some undercard matches tonight that I'm actually really interested in, and they built up to another couple matches that I'm even more interested in. So this should be a lot of fun to talk about.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it with our first segment, Heat of the Night. No heats of the night, no nitpicks. What about you, partner?
Anything either. I do want to give some credit actually to NXT for putting something on Cassius Ohno's torso so that he doesn't go out there in just tiny little like wrestling tights and look ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because honestly, if he would have been out there in like traditional wrestling tights, like what he always wears at PWG, that probably would have been at least a nitpick.
Yeah, I don't think that would have really gone over well. Because with the WWE aesthetic.
Honestly, I mean, what he wore was better, but it still could use some improvement. Because, like, I mean, I appreciate that you're trying to cover him up a little bit, but he's basically wearing a sheer white shirt, and you can still see his freaking like gut and his belly button and everything. It's kind of weird.
Well, even people where I was watching NXT tonight, like you could see that they were like, "That's not a good look at all." They said, like, I know he can go. He's in shape, like, for him to be able to do his job. It's just not a good look. And I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know if you remember, but at the very tail end of his last NXT run, he was wearing, like, the Undertaker getup, where, like, he was wearing, like, long tights and a singlet underneath them. And I think that would be perfect for him.
Yeah, I mean, something like that I think would be ideal. We'll see if they'll tinker with it anymore. For now, it was fine. I think the big focus was this is his first major match back, and it's for the NXT Championship, which he never got to hold in his first run. So I appreciated the story. And yeah, but I definitely appreciate you airing that out here. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope.
All right, then let us get right into our NXT review. And partner, how do we open this baby up?
With a match, actually. We had a cold open today. We start with the Ely brothers making their entrance, and they are facing the Authors of Pain.
Yeah, the Ely brothers, I commend NXT for finally giving them a match because I feel like they've been jumped twice. And they even had a little screen promo where they said, everybody thinks it's a mistake that we're calling out the Authors of Pain, but more or less, like, when we're done, you're gonna be the ones on your backs. You're gonna see that it was you that made the mistake. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds nice. AOP comes out. I think the Ely brothers, like, one of them gets a little bit of something going, but it is quickly shut down. These guys, they get the Super Collider. AOP does on both members of the Ely brothers. The one on the apron got headbutted, for God's sake, so it was over for him. Super Collider, then the last chapter, 3 count. I mean, this was a quintessential squash match to me. Any thoughts you have about it?
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about this squash match is that I think it actually did. You feel like maybe the Ely brothers were going to do a little bit of something, and then really quickly just yank that rug right out from underneath your feet.
Exactly. I really appreciated that. It's not like they got totally punked out, but they essentially got totally punked out.
But they pretty much did, yeah.
Yeah. Paul Ellering gets a mic afterwards, pretty much says that the Revival is the newest name in his book of Pain of Destruction. And, so their focus is on the Revival because of the Shatter Machine that was still fucking breathtaking to look at. But then, and then he says, like, you call yourself the greatest tag team in the world. I made the algorithm. And these
That
guys.
was so good too. Talking about how he created, or no, they don't know what algorithm. Or yeah, that was I created the algorithm for greatness in tag team wrestling, and my authors of pain are my team of destiny, soon to be dynasty. he
Yeah.
sounds he sounds like such a comic book villain. It's hilarious.
Yeah, when Paul Ellering speaks, and I enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying he can't get a good promo. I enjoy his promos, but whenever he speaks, I'm halfway between like, oh, you want a mustache to twirl, and okay, time to go back to the home. It's tapioca night. Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
well, and then the third option. Well, I have this cat over here. If you'd like something else to stroke.
Exactly, outside of your ego. But then DIY comes out. Gargano and Ciampa mutually agree that they have no idea what an algorithm is. Hell, Gargano can't even say it. But they do know that they deserve a rightful rematch because Revival saved AOP in their words. And as much as they'd love to see AOP destroy the Revival, that's just not happening because they're at the front of the line. Then the Revival comes out. And honestly, dude, this is one of my favorite promos that they've cut to date. Because it really is saying the same thing they always have said, right? They're top guys. They're the Mercedes-Benz. They're the Michael Jordan of this division, and so on and so forth. But when they said that it pained them to be off TakeOver San Antonio, like they should not be left on a TakeOver card when they built this tag division, I got goosebumps because I believed it when they said it. I feel like they were genuinely hurt that they were left off, and they were like, we are never having that happen again. So I really enjoyed them here. What did you think?
It's ironic that you say that they're talking about never having that happen again when this is probably going to be their last takeover ever.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we'll see, man. I'm telling you, TakeOver Orlando premium predictions and then WrestleMania 33 premium predictions is going to be very interesting for us because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. But I'm guessing you enjoyed this too?
Oh yeah, I love. First of all, I love DIY coming out and just kind of hamming it up like, oh, I don't even know what an algorithm means. But what I do know is that the Revival saved you guys from us, and we should be champions. And at the very least, since we're not champions, we deserve a fair rematch. And then the Revival come out and, they do the whole, you don't bench Tom Brady, you don't pull Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter, and the Revival does not watch the tag team division that they built from the sideline. And then Regal comes out, and not only are we getting a triple threat at TakeOver Orlando, my friend, we are getting an elimination triple threat at TakeOver Orlando.
That is going to be so good. Again, the tag team division in NXT might have match of the night. I think the women's championship match can compete with it from an in-ring perspective. And even a story perspective, it's starting to get some teeth with a little something we got tonight that I'm excited to talk about with you. But yeah, it's gonna be neck and neck for me between that and this because I'm really, if I'm being honest, not super looking forward to what we're getting for the NXT title, which we'll get to later. It definitely for me comes down to the tag titles and the women's title, and this tag team title match is going to be an absolute barn burner. Cannot wait for this.
For sure. So then we had kind of a promo. Bobby Roode versus Cassius Ohno are going to be fighting for the NXT Championship tonight, and they make it known, yes, the winner will defend the title against Nakamura at TakeOver Orlando. And then we get another graphic saying Nikki Cross will be in action next. And then we get a little vignette for Heavy Machinery, who I'm very excited to see.
Yes, dude, I'm telling you, this tag team for NXT could be their answer to War Machine in ROH. I really think these guys could be something special. It seems like they're going to be baby faces. You know what? Which is cool because we already have enough of those dominant, intimidating teams with, Sanity and AOP that are heel. So I think this breaks up the monotony a little bit. I'm excited for them too, dude. I'm really curious how far they can go together.
Yeah, man. I love these guys. They're kind of like a WWE version of War Machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like it's their answer to that with Heavy Machinery. I think they're going to do quite well.
So then, this was really interesting because this came off as very heelish. We got an Asuka video, and one of my favorite things about this, one of the first things she says actually, is that the moon never shines brighter than the sun. And then she went on to say, of course, the sun is me.
Yeah, dude, I gotta tell you what I loved about this, because I'm gonna try and articulate my thoughts as succinctly and as clearly as I can. I think when you see Asuka compete and you see like prior video packages, you think of like this dominant, violent, destructive force, and yet in this video package, I love that it's almost like a juxtaposition or a dichotomy, if you will, because she's rocking this dress and she's sunbathing and she's looking classy as fuck with her title, and she's like, "Yeah, this is my title, this is my division." Even went as far as to say you should rename this Asuka's title, Asuka's division.
Yeah.
And that hubris has just reached peak
And
saturation.
she even said there is no women's revolution. There is only Asuka.
And I'm just like, yes, yes. Now, if she could bring that stuff like in the ring for a live promo, I'm curious the reaction she'd get, because I'm willing to bet people wouldn't take
Well,
too kindly to it.
to
I
be
would think.
fair, I wouldn't be surprised if not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, the Go Home show, we got a contract signing, because that's all NXT ever does anymore with the women is, oh, we have a women's championship match on the takeover. Well, they need to sign a contract, and that needs to happen in public.
Yeah, I never really got that. I mean, you're not wrong. That probably is going to happen, but I hope at least that they can use the forum to show this Asuka in front of a live audience, and I'm hoping Ember can hold her own as the babyface, because yeah, this is perfect. I think everything's coming together at the right time. Now, again, that's not me making a prediction one way or the other. You got to wait for that. I can't wait for that batch of preview and predictions. But I do love now that we really are seeing Asuka really just completely enveloped within her own hubris. I think that's very interesting. And I think it's a character development that's been long overdue. We've gotten little hints and teases of it here and there, but I think with this, they're fully committed to it. Because, yeah, it
Yeah,
was everything,
it's like
man.
they were teasing it before, but she kept on having heel opponent, so they couldn't commit to it fully. But now that she's got a babyface opponent, it's,
Yeah.
wheels up. Let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I completely agree with you. I love this. And again, this is why I'm saying this is probably the biggest competition for me that the NXT Tag Team title has. Because if it was just Asuka still being Asuka, I'd still be saying the same thing. But even more so now that Asuka does seem to have this character evolution. And, I got to give Tom Phillips credit. Like, how do you defeat the undefeated? That's a great soundbite for this current evolution of the Asuka character of like, yeah, my shit doesn't stink. I'm the greatest. I'm this. Everything should just be named after me, involving the women. And again, you made a great point in that video package. There is no women's revolution. There is only Asuka. I mean, hot damn. Hot damn. Like, that is so good. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and I'll also point out, I feel like her English is improving a bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had no trouble understanding her. I thought she spoke quite well for me, so she's definitely putting in the work, it seems like. And yeah, man, I mean, she has held that NXT Women's Championship. She has had a vice grip on that shit for what feels like forever, to say the least. And yeah, take over Orlando. We'll see if Ember Moon can get it done.
Absolutely. And then after her video, we got a women's match, because apparently, even though there's no women's revolution, the division does still exist outside of Asuka. And this was kind of strange, because we got, I believe, I don't know, they said that we've seen her before, but I don't remember ever seeing Macy Estrella before. But she faced Nikki Cross.
Yeah, faced is a term I would use very loosely, given what we got here.
Okay, so she barely survived Nikki Cross. How's that?
That's better. That's better. Because yeah, the funny thing is, Ashton, with this Macy Estrella, like, I've never seen her compete either, but I think what they were getting at is like on social media and on like the NXT social accounts, I think she's probably done some stuff. Still never heard of her. So this was interesting to me. I'm like, okay, so this is the sacrificial lamb they chose this week. Nikki Cross comes out, and I gotta tell you, man, I mean, we've talked about finishers in the past. Like, how do you build up the credibility of a finisher? You can see that they're starting to do that with the Eclipse with Ember, with the whole Billy Kay thing. And now, like, this week, that swinging fisherman neckbreaker of Nikki Cross, like, I think it's both getting over the finisher and the performer, because they're still trying to push this idea, like, yeah, she's crazy, she's out of her mind. And that fisherman neckbreaker, like, it's so devastating. 5 of them. I mean, this...
Six! She hit 6 of them!
6 of them. See, it was so brutal. I lost count. But yeah, 6 of them. Macy will be lucky if she ever wrestles a match again, kayfabe speaking. Because, I mean, they were just like, my God, when does this stop? I actually thought for a minute that the ref was going to throw the match out and give it to Macy by DQ. Because Nikki just wouldn't relent. But thankfully, Nikki Cross did get the win, which I was happy about. And yeah, that's what we got here. Nikki Cross winning dominantly. I think the only offense Macy got was a punch to the throat. And then Nikki Cross was like, oh, hell no. And she tackled her. And yeah, that was really the beginning of the end. And Eric Young was like encouraging her, like pushing her on, like, you know, one more time. You know what you have to do. You know what you have to do. And yeah, that Fisherman neckbreaker 6 times. So what did you think about this?
Yeah, it was definitely really off kilter. This isn't really something that I'm used to seeing in really any kind of wrestling. I don't think even like in, you know, New Japan or Lucha Underground or anything, I don't think we've ever had a character who just hit their finisher over and over again, even though they could have easily gotten the win after the first one just because like it entertained them, I guess.
Right. Yeah,
the only other time I can remember somebody just hitting their finisher over and over again, it was Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn at TakeOver Rival. But even then, he didn't do it because he wanted to. He did it out of necessity because Sami kept freaking kicking out.
Exactly. Like, he's like, I've got to put him down, and I've got to put him down for good. Whereas with Nikki Cross, she had put Macy down after the first one. You know, there was going to be no kicking out, no anything. Because, I mean, Macy just showed up. So it's like she doesn't even have that credibility. And, yeah, it just kept going on and on. Nikki Cross does get the win, however. And then in the post-match, when Sanity is standing tall, we see that No Way Jose tries to get the jump alongside Ty Dillinger. So they're trying to get something going against Sanity, but they quickly get shut down.
Yeah, to no avail whatsoever.
Exactly. I mean, I credit them for trying, but as the saying goes here, never try. Because, yeah, Ty was doing well against Killian Dane, but then Nikki Cross decided to jump on Ty Dillinger because she's like, oh, well, just because they feel like they can't hit a woman doesn't mean I think I can't hit a man. And she pretty much gouged Dillinger's eyes out, and then he got steamrolled by Dane. And then, yeah, No Way Jose got laid out, and then Eric Young just slapped Ty Dillinger. And he's like, your blood is on your hands. Ah! And I'm like, oh, you people from Mexico North are adorable. But yeah, Eric Young.
I thought he said their blood is on your hands, but I guess that works too.
Yeah, I really thought he said your blood is on your hands, but even if he said like their blood is on your hands, like you said, that works as well. And just to kind of package
the thing is, the consequences of your actions are entirely your fault.
If only Eric Young was that eloquent. But yeah, just to kind of package this all up and put a bow on it, we learned that next week is going to be a 6-man tag team match. Dillinger, No Way Jose, and Roderick Strong against Young, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf. So yeah, should be an interesting tag team match. I am fully expecting Sanity to go over. Although I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about it not making the TakeOver Orlando card, because I really thought these 6 guys would be doing something at that TakeOver, but I guess not. I mean, I guess
not. Yeah. Well, to be fair, most of the time the TakeOver Orlando cards only have 5 matches on them, so they have to be kind of picky and choosy about which matches make the card and which ones don't.
That is very true. Very true. But yeah, do you have
like honestly, if this wasn't on next week, it probably would have ended up being taped at the TakeOver Orlando venue and then just shown on the week after.
Right. Any thoughts you have on the beatdown that you want to share?
Not really. Really kind of wondered why Roderick Strong wasn't out there, if he was selling an injury or if he's just kind of playing like the Dark Loner or something. I don't know, but he's going to be a part of the match next week, so why would he not be out there tonight?
He's probably just like, you know, guys, I'm at 97%, but unlike Cliff Shoulder, I don't want to overexert myself, so I'm going to wait till I'm 100% next week. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can go out there and screw yourself up, but I'm going to be performing at peak capacity next week.
Exactly. I'm Roderick Strong. I'm the Energizer Bunny of pro wrestling, and I didn't get that distinction by throwing myself needlessly into conflicts I can't win. So have fun, Marks.
So then we get another graphic still to come tonight, Rude Ono, and then we get an Aleister Black vignette.
Really liking these, dude. I think Aleister Black, I like the tone of the character, the vibe that's coming off of these vignettes. Could be another favorite act of mine in NXT. So I'm really looking forward to the debut again, that I'm assuming will be Takeover Orlando. And yeah, it should be a fun time. What did you think about this vignette?
It was pretty cool, man. I like the tone of these vignettes. It feels very kind of, I don't know. It's weird because there's a very dark atmosphere to these, but at the same time, like some of the imagery is like church and like like almost Christian themed imagery. So it's definitely strange.
Do you think it's almost like the Aleister Black character is Antichrist-esque? Or, because that's kind
I
of
mean,
the
he
vibe I'm getting.
does. I mean, to be fair, on the Indies, he has always called him. Well, maybe not always, but for the longest time now, he's called himself the anti-hero.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's what he's going for. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, he actually did say something about a blackout or time to fade to black, I think it was, for the opponents and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that's what they're going for. I'm not sure. It's different, though. I like the vibe, but I've never really been a big fan of these, like, overly vague, like, oh, wait and see, guys, kind of vignettes. I'm usually more of a fan of, like, the Lucha Underground style vignettes where they're like, hey, guys, here's Drago. He was a literal dragon. This is his backstory, and this is what you can expect from him. Like, that's my vignette. That's the vignette I want to see. I don't want to see this vague, like, oh, hey, guys, and we're not even going to tell you who it is, but if you know a little bit about the backstage stuff, you might be able to guess who it is. But other than that, have fun trying to figure out what the actual character is.
So I think what you're saying, to package it nicely, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you like your vignettes that are like a bit more expositional and not as ambiguous. Like, you want to
Well,
know
yeah.
what you're getting.
To me, like, a vignette serves, it shouldn't just serve the purpose of making people know that somebody's coming. It should also serve the purpose of introducing people to the character that's coming so that we have reason to be excited when they show up beyond just, oh, this is something new, hooray!
Exactly. And I will say this too, the one mistake that I'm not going to make that I made with Andrade, because you remember I would say, like, after Andrade's debut, that
Yeah.
the tone to me with the vignettes
Oh,
and
this
everything,
has
like,
heel vibes.
this has heel vibes to me. And now with Aleister Black, I kind of want to say something similar, but you know what? I'm holding my goddamn tongue, because for all we know, he's going to come out, get a massive pop, and work baby, in his match, and maybe a heel turn will come later. So I'm not even going to guess what alignment these vignettes seem to be hinting at. I'm just going to let it play out. But yeah, I've been enjoying them nonetheless.
I completely agree. So after the Aleister Black vignette, we get a kind of a recap of Billie Kay's injury when she was facing Ember Moon, and they really did build up the Eclipse finisher as like this devastating thing, and that's what was caused the injury. And then we were supposed to get an update on Billie Kay, but then there was this really awkward confrontation in the NXT Performance Center between Andrade Cien Almas and Ho Ho Lun. And then Oni Lorcan shows up to kind of defend Ho Ho Lun from Andrade. And he's like, hey, man, why don't you try that with me? And then Andrade just like points at him and walks away. And then we get an actual interview with Oni Lorcan. But before we get to that, I'll let you get your thoughts out on the segment that was supposed to be the Billie Kay injury update.
Yeah, first of all, great job again building up the Eclipse. But second of all, I've really just got to say, it is amazing, and I think very welcome, that Andrade is bringing bullying back into the locker room. I really commend his efforts. I mean, Ho Ho Lun didn't even see it coming. He got his face shoved right in that locker like the little shit that he is. Oni Lorcan really should mind his business. I mean, Andrade is a legend all over the world, and he's finally making his namesake in America, and I think Oni Lorcan should respect that. But no, just go ahead and try and be a hero. See how that works out for you. His
Look there,
promo...
he's not trying to be a hero. He just really hates bullies.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bullying builds character, okay? Maybe Ho Ho Lun will think twice before he thinks he can open his locker in peace. What the fuck does he think this is? But yeah, I'm looking forward to Oni Lorcan and Andrade working together. They actually did in that period of NXT, like live events, like live specials that we skipped because it was just pretty much like recaps. You know, like when they went to Japan and then Australia and all that stuff. They actually worked a series of matches together, and I think we got to see the blow off of that series on an episode of NXT. So we know these guys can work well together, and if they're going to work together again, I have no qualms about that. It should be a great in-ring match. And yeah, what I liked about Oni's promo wasn't really in any kind of fancy dressing. He just simply says, yeah, Ho Loon and I aren't the best friends, and I like that he acknowledged that because, not every babyface has to be best friends with each other. He just said, it's the principle of the thing. I don't like bullies, and Ho Loon didn't deserve that. Nobody does. So very basic premise that's sure to guarantee us a solid in-ring product next week. What's not to like?
Exactly.
All right, well, I love seeing all the bullying rules comments in the chat. But yeah, if you want to move on, we can.
All right, up next, we had an Andrea DeMarco interview with Cassius Ohno right before he goes out for his big match with Bobby Roode. And this is kind of a casual, almost like a small talk kind of thing. Like, oh, yeah, I feel good. I've had some failures in the past, and this is the night that I get to put those to rest.
And then we cut to Scott Steiner on commentary. Scott, what do you think about Cassius Ohno's chances in this match?
He's fat!
I think he'd have a lot better chance if Bobby Roode was a Dunkin' Donuts. But, yeah, Cassius Ohno pretty much saying, well, we'll continue the discussion about success and failure after I bring back the NXT Championship. So, yeah, he comes out, again, really, cool seeing him have his first match in NXT after, 4 years. And then Bobby Roode gets interviewed, and he essentially says, you really think that Cassius Ohno deserves to be NXT champion? He's a failure. And, pretty much saying that he's going to retain and, glorious and all that jazz. And then Bobby Roode goes out. I mean, do you have any thoughts you want to share about Roode's promo?
Cassius Ohno? More like Fascist Ohno, am I right?
Indeed you are, Scotty. And what do you think about Bobby Roode from Mexico North?
Forget Bobby Roode. He's a good guy. I like Bobby. Let's go back to talking about Fascist Ohno. Or should I say, the guy who'd have a better chance of pinning Bobby Roode for the 3 count if Bobby was a box of pizza.
Okay, we can't continue this, otherwise I'm just gonna be laughing for the rest of the review. Roode goes out. Stop it! Now I got Scott Steiner's voice when I'm thinking of like all the spots in this match. But yeah, we have Cassius Ohno versus a man smothered in a Twinkie, Bobby Roode, the NXT Championship. What did you think about this match?
I wonder if the reason Cassius Ohno wants the NXT Championship is because he thinks it's like a hot chocolate gold-covered coin, and it's got a bunch of chocolate inside it.
Yeah, I mean, probably, Scotty. I mean, I do have to wonder, though. I mean, Bobby Roode was really in hot water for this match. I mean, Cassius Ohno, he probably looked at his head and thought it was a cheeseburger.
Did you just say hot water? Because if Cassius Ohno heard you say that, he'd think you were about ready to make him some hot chocolate.
Oh, my God. What is happening right now? Cassius Ohno. God, how do I even do thoughts right now? He got that one pump kick. His kicks are pretty freaking sick.
How many pumps of chocolate syrup did he put on his sundae?
My God, man. I think at least 4 pumps. I don't know. That was what I heard. Bobby Roode goes out in the ring after the kick. If anybody else is confused as I am, please chime in, please. Roode comes back in. He tries to get an offensive going, but I mean, they really made Ohno look great here.
They did a better job of making Ohno look great than he does in the gym.
Oh God. Yeah, and he got the spinning elbow discus thing. I can't even words right now. Roode goes out to the floor. Ohno says, oh God, my chance at the NXT Championship, it was right there. So he gets Roode back in, and I actually liked this little touch by Ohno. It just shows you how intuitively he understands the game and how things work, because mostly when a guy hits a finisher and the person rolls out of the ring, they get him back and they still try for the cover. But at that point, you'd figure they'd have enough recovery time. So Ohno, to kind of hedge his bets, he does a senton. And we've already talked about how big Cassius Ohno is. I mean, if you want to chime in there, Scotty, feel free. But yeah, he gets a senton. That looks just sick. And it still only gets a 2 count, which actually serves Roode, making him seem like a very tough champion. So it's the little things, and I really, really like that. Ohno
well, if it's the little things, then Cassius Ohno's screwed.
Yeah, it really does spell disaster for him at Sacrifice, doesn't it? Goes for the spinning elbow again. Roode ducks. They try a switch around. Ono's like throat and like face go into the ropes, which, as we know, it's like a steel cable type thing. Rude gets the glorious DDT. That gets the 3 count, but it was such a hard fought match that even though Ono was pinned, and pinned clean, I might add, by Rude, which I feel like was much needed, especially given that this was his first title defense. I think that's a great tone to set for Rude. I really do feel like they didn't bitch Ono out at all. I feel like they made him look great, and yeah, it's great to see him back in the fold. Final thoughts here, Scotty?
No, I'm not. I'm done with the Scott Steiner
Oh,
voice. I think I
okay.
might come back to it later on during the review or during the outro. But for now, yeah, the match is fine. I had something queued up like, I wonder why Cassius Ohno does all these discus moves. Why does he feel like he's got to spin before he hits a move? Is it because the discus reminds him of a donut, or is it just because he thinks the extra spin is going to burn a few extra calories?
What the actual fuck? Like, okay. I gotta tell you, if there's a
I've got to stop. I've got to stop.
I've got to say, for all of you out there, and I think it was Cliff that started this with like the compilation of funniest TWitWoW moments. The entire review of this match just needs to be in the compilation because he never broke Steiner voice, and I expected you to multiple times, but you kept it going to the end. Way to commit, brother. Oh my god.
But yeah, it was. I've gotten to the point now that I think Bobby Roode just bores me in the ring.
Yeah, I can understand. And dude, and you know that I'm like a fan of Bobby Roode, but I'm starting to feel the same way, dude.
Like I was really hoping that Ono would actually win this, so that we could get Odo Nakamura at Takeover, because that to me, that's a far more compelling in-ring product than Rude Nakamura.
And what's so sad about that, even if you did get like Ono Nakamura, I bet they're thinking, does Winner go to the main roster? No. Winner gets the satisfaction of a job well done. But yeah, Ono, it was complicated, right? Because I wanted him to win too, if I'm being honest. Like, again, Bobby Roode, and I was the fan of his when he first came in. I think here's where I've come to with Bobby Roode, right? I think I finally figured it out. I enjoy him as a heel personality. In ring, he's not bad. I think he can put on a good match when he needs to, and I did genuinely enjoy this. But he's never going to be that guy, in my mind, that makes you go, oh man, that was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. And like, I would even say that about a Sami Zayn before a Bobby Roode, because I've always given Sami his due for his in-ring product.
Yeah.
I just feel like guys like that are more capable of that type of match than Bobby Roode is.
And even Ono, honestly, I feel like I've seen more Ono matches that made me go, oh my god, that's a match of the year candidate than Bobby Roode matches.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the thing. All jokes aside, and I really do mean all jokes aside, because goddamn, that review was legend status. Cassius Ohno, I mean, yeah, aesthetically, it's not a good look, but he is in shape. He did a kip up in this match. Like, goddamn, what a visual that is, and he can work.
Had to really kind of build himself up to do it, but yeah, he did one.
Exactly. I think it was just to show, hey guys, you think I'm out of shape? Does this gross you out? And fuck you. And, it just goes on with the match. So.
You seeing this, Scotty? You seeing this, Scotty?
Yeah, Cassius, look at this vein, though. But yeah, man, I mean, here's the thing. For NXT TV, this was definitely a serviceable bout, but if this is on a takeover, I'd say this is pretty average. And I think that really does come.
I mean, if this was on a takeover, I would come away so disappointed.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. Because you'd think at least on a takeover that Ono would kick out of the first glorious DDT, but no, it was one and done. Which again, I mean, protects the finisher, which I can give NXT credit for. See, I think they hit all the right beats. It's just a matter of what we really want right now from that subjective perspective. Like, I don't even want Nakamura anywhere near the NXT title, and he doesn't even want to be anywhere near the NXT title. He wants WrestleMania. He even said in an interview recently, that's the whole reason I came to this country. I want to perform on the biggest wrestling show on earth. My God, people, don't deprive this man of his dream when he's given so much already. But yeah, he's going to be working with Rude in Orlando. And again, Rude Nakamura too, I'm really not that looking forward to. Honestly, the only Rude title match I'm looking forward to that I believe is going to happen is going to be Ty Dillinger at Brooklyn 3. That's it. And we don't even know if that's going to happen yet with how NXT operates. That's just making educated assumptions. But yeah, that was NXT. I enjoyed the main event. But Rude, I don't know. I think I finally realized where I kind of sit with him. That said, do you have anything else you want to say about this main event?
No, sir.
All right, then let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. And I got to say my low shot moving right along is Cassius Ohno. I mean, kayfabe-wise, this was his first NXT match back in 4 years, and it was for the NXT Championship. Like, what a way to debut. And you've got all this on your shoulders, and yeah, he had a great match, and I love Ohno. You know, he's just an interesting look, and then the style, and then everything. Even if it's not a WWE
Don't forget that he's a fat bastard.
And I know, Scott. I know he is a fat bastard. You're right, but he can work his goddamn ass off. And yeah, he still lost though. That's the thing. That's really what we come away with. And he didn't make the cut for Takeover Orlando, so gonna be very curious what he does. Hell,
I'm sure he'll end up doing something, even if it's just like an exhibition style match against, like, I don't know, someone.
Hey, maybe he will be Aleister Black's opponent. We don't freaking know. It depends on how seriously they want us to take him on night one.
Epic.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Because, like, I know some people would probably laugh at the idea. Like, no, Cassius Ohno is way too high up on the pecking order for that. But is he, though? Because, like, I could just as easily see it. If Aleister Black, if they really want to make him, like, look for competition right away and establish him right away, even in a loss to Cassius Ohno, if he can hang in there with him, that's really all you need. So, yeah, but I'm still picking Andrade, though, for the record, as far as that function goes. But regardless, I don't want to get too off topic. Yeah. Who's your low shot?
The Ely brothers, because they tried.
Yeah, they did. Oh, man, hysterical. You know what? I'm feeling a bit more playful tonight. My honorary high spot is Andrade because, again, I have to applaud a man that's bringing bullying back to the locker room. I mean, I thought it died with JBL and The Undertaker, but it's nice to see the new generation really grabbing the bull by the horns. So Andrade is going to be my honorary high spot, but my legitimate high spot... you know, it's a bit rougher this week. You know what? I'm going to say my high spot is Asuka. Because even though she really didn't do anything, that video package, she cut a great promo. She's on top of the world. She's still the NXT champion. And she's the only champion right now where, again, she gets the soundbite. How do you beat or how do you defeat the undefeated? So Asuka's sitting pretty right now. I give her my high spot.
Nice. I can dig that. I think I'm going to have to give my high spot to, I had someone in mind. Who was it? Oh, yeah. Damn, I had someone in mind. Who was it?
I don't know, brother. I wish I could read your mind in this moment.
You know what? I'm gonna do something a little bit out of left field. I'm gonna give my my high spot to two different entities, DIY and the Revival, because they both got into a tag team championship match at Takeover Orlando.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world to me, dude. They made their statement, especially the Revival. When you consider, like, the last few NXT tag team championship matches they've been a part of, they've lost clean. So for them to get another opportunity, like, especially them, it's big for them.
And well, DIY, the Revival and DIY are kind of getting a redemption opportunity. So that's, you know, cool for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. With that said, brother, is there anything else you want to say about NXT tonight?
Nah.
Well, guys, this is going to go down as one of my favorite reviews, if for no other reason that whole extended Steiner bit my cohort and commentary here. But with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube and like the video if you haven't already. I see we still got 10 people watching, but only 5 likes. Please, on your way out, give a like to this video. It helps us become the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. So, yeah, leave that like. It helps us out tremendously. As far as all of our social media and things related to TWitWoW, you can find all of it from the Patreon to the Teespring store to all of our media in the description box. So please check that out if you haven't yet. See everything that we've got going on. And now I just want to run down what the rest of our week is looking like. And I think the only other thing we have this week, because it doesn't get too crazy yet, but it's really going to intensify.
No, the crazy week really starts on Sunday, March 26th. And that's not this coming Sunday. It's the following Sunday.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's when it gets really crazy for this week. The only thing you guys need to be on the lookout for now is our Patreon review. Tomorrow we are doing WrestleMania 19. You guys are going to want to be here 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to cover WrestleMania 19, the one WrestleMania that's in hot debate with 17 as the greatest WrestleMania of all time. So this should really be a very fun review. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. Other than that, guys, the only thing I want to plug, which I always plug, Q&A. Today is March 15th. Q&A number 9 comes March 31st. We do it the last Friday of every month. So you've still got a little over 2 weeks to get in your questions. Now, you have a multitude of avenues that you can take. Twitter, you can wait for this video to process and leave a question there. You can go to our Facebook page. If you do, please leave a like. PM us a question there. So there's no reason why you can't get questions in for Q&A if you want to. Now, the cap for Q&A, ever since Q&A number 8, we have bumped the cap up one. The cap is now 4 questions. And you can divide those questions up any way you like, and you can ask us anything you like, and if it's out of bounds, we'll tell you, and then you could always revise your question and submit that, and that rarely ever happens anyway. So let your imagination soar, see what you got for us, and yeah, Q&A should be very interesting. Q&A number 9, one shy of double digits. It's crazy we've been doing Q&A that long. But again, guys, tomorrow, WrestleMania 19, 8 p.m. Eastern time, be here, and we're going to go bell to bell with it, post to post, and until then, guys, tune in, and peace out.